lounging. Yeah, how you living, Ski? Yo, I'm just lounging, B. Yeah, how you living, G? Yo, I'm just lounging, B. Yeah, how you living? I'm lounging. It's the
See what you're all about. So let me introduce you, Mark Sabbagh. Is that how you say your last name?
Sabbagh.
Sabbagh. Okay. So I've been pronouncing it wrong the whole time.
No worries.
But you never
Most
heard
people do.
Most
people do. Most people do. So don't even worry about it. It takes like one or two swings to get it right.
Yeah, no, I got it. I was trying to think today. I was looking at the pronunciation. I'm like, I've been saying it in my head as Saba the whole time, but I'm like, it's probably not.
I was trying, it's funny. I was trying to figure out how to spell lounging today. And I said, I know there's some sort of hyphen in the middle.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to screw it up, but I'll just, again, we'll roll with it. So,
Yeah.
If I spell it wrong, I know Larry will make sure to correct me next time.
Yeah. No worries. So yeah, really great to have you on. And like I said, I've been kind of idle for 4 or 5 weeks. I was on vacation and then I caught COVID. So I was kind of down and out a little bit I was away for 10 days. And at the end of that, I kind of caught COVID and was out for another week or week and a half. So, we're back at it and really glad to have on another great guest that I've been wanting to find out more about what you do.
You kind of went on the blurry voice, and I kind of missed the last part.
Yeah, no worries. So I just was saying that I'm really happy to have you on, and like I said, I've been away for I've been not recording for a few weeks because I was on vacation in Florida, and
hope you enjoyed, man. Well deserved.
And then right at the end, I caught COVID. So I came back and I was sick for a week and a half or so. And then all better now. But like I said, I've been kind of down in the count for a while, and but glad to get back at it. And like I said, the whole purpose of this podcast is to get people on that it's like get interesting people on that I find that I can bring value to other people. You know what I mean? So you're my third guest. I had on 2 other friends of mine from related industries, not necessarily my industry, but one was a recycler that does different kinds of recycling. And then I had a logistics manager on that owns a logistics manager that I've known for a while too, but really interested to hear about, really what you do and what your businesses are about. I mean, I think our businesses are slightly related, only that, I mean, every business is buying and selling. And I feel like from what I know about your business, that's kind of what you guys are doing, is buying and selling, but consumer goods, right?
So Consumer Goods Group is a trading and distribution company with a focus on brand name consumer products. So we distribute and trade as well as we also represent a lot of innovative and newer brands to help them get distribution into new markets and channels. And we also offer a couple different ranges of services through Diamond Trading Group, but the main business is, like you said, it's buying and selling and trading. We also have a manufacturing wing, which is Diamond Home, which is a manufacturer of housewares and in all different types of kitchen and home products. And we also manufacture different private label programs through that business as well. And my main business one of my businesses that I've been working on for the last about year and a half now is Gotham Venture Partners, which is an investment advisory firm. So we focus on mergers and acquisitions and helping facilitating acquisitions for digital businesses in the e-commerce space and innovative businesses globally. We help them facilitate their exit of the business. We also invest into early stage businesses that pertain and could connect to our current business model that can be essential plugins to our business. And we're always looking at innovation and how innovation is changing the world of business. And we also are advisors to a couple of different startups, really also pertaining to the global consumer trade business. And we're also growing into other opportunities as we grow that business, and we get involved in different acquisition deals and different investment opportunities. And it's a lot of fun. You got your hands full. You get to speak with a lot of incredible entrepreneurs, which is my passion, is being able to work with business owners and entrepreneurs and hearing their story and help them really reach their goals. Like I've been trying to reach my goals, and because we all share that passion and mission for our business, and a love for our work. And that's become a real passion of mine, and really the main focus has really been finding good investments that can be fantastic plugins and potential growth for our current businesses, and also advising businesses and entrepreneurs to essentially exit their business or seek investment.
Yeah, that's amazing. So do you guys buy like inventory cleanouts? Is that what you do?
We have a few different stages of how we do our business. So we buy, we trade, which is we have our main sourcing hub is within the US, but we do source products in Europe and in Asia as well, and from time to time in other countries. From time to time we do buy opportunity buys for our own e-commerce channels that we sell on, or we'll resell them over to our different channels of distribution, as we serve everywhere from retailers to promotional accounts to industrial accounts that we service, that we provide different products with, and we create different programs with that. The main business and how we started was actually just generally through trading product, buying and selling, and building up the business that way. And then we started reinvesting. We reinvest into products sometimes, whether if it's a known product to us or something that we can potentially sell through our online channels. But again, like I said, it really started as a trading business, buying and selling. It's really what I knew, really what I know. And it's a lot of fun because you just deal with a lot of different types of products, a lot of different types of vendors from a lot of different parts of the world, with a lot of different customers from a lot of different parts of the world. And it's a lot of different products and very diverse. And it's fun. It's a fantastic time. And through that. Through that passion of buying and selling, we got into the passion of essentially buying and selling businesses, and that's where Gotham essentially was birthed as well, just
Gotcha.
with essentially a different type of twist.
Gotcha. Well, I give you a lot of credit. I mean, it's a great business to build. It's a great way to build your business. And I've always, from my younger years, I've always been interested in buying and selling, and that's kind of how I got into the business that I'm in. I mean, I do kind of the same thing, but we focus on plastic resin, but it's kind of the same thing. I work super hard at developing supplier relationships, and my motto, which I learned from my old mentor when I started in this business, was if you can buy, you can sell, right? And that's the whole thing. Buying is the key. And I think if you buy correctly, then you'll have customers. You'll be able to find customers for that material. You know what I mean? So, so that's the whole thing. And that's how I kind of built my business, is on the supply side. We buy, we have great relationships with our suppliers, and we're able to bring and pass those discounts on to our customers. So, and like I said, it sounds like you're in the same kind of field, just more consumer products and things like that.
100%. And I want to tell you, Larry, being in this space, you come across so many different opportunities. And you come across so many different types of customers. I mean, we do a lot of marketing through email, through WhatsApp. Being in such a diverse industry and dealing with so many different types of vendors and customers and channels, and you definitely see your challenges. When you're dealing with brands directly, there's only so much you can get from them from time to time, and sometimes the pricing isn't there, and getting product as consistently as we want to our customers. The most important thing to me is my customers and my vendors and my relationships that I have. That's what we strive on. And you think of them as in a sense as family. You want to try to treat them as family and grow things together as a family. And it's kind of the same culture I try to bring here to, to my employees and my company, that we're all essentially a family, and we're on a mission here together. And that's the same type of relationship I try to with my partners, my vendors.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Larry? Did I break out?
A little bit. No, we're good, I think. But yeah, it's funny that you mention how you treat your employees and your partners and your customers as family. And I recently saw a post on LinkedIn about this guy was saying something about, you need to separate, you can't call your customers or your employees your family. Those aren't your blood people, or those aren't your.
We were reading the same thing. Yes,
Okay.
I did see that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
The thought was sitting, and as I was saying, it's funny you brought that up, Larry, because as I was saying that thought and that post actually came up to the back of my mind. And in a sense, you can agree with it, but I tend to disagree with it. At the end, I got two little ones at home. I got a wife and two little ones at home, and they barely see me. But at the end of the day, family is everything. My goal as a business owner and as an entrepreneur is to eventually build my business where I don't even have employees. Everybody just becomes a shareholder of our business, because you want everybody to share that same mission, and you want them to feel that you're part of that family. You're not just work. You don't work for the family. You are part of the family.
Right.
You, as I say, the successes of the family are passed down to you as well. Your hard work doesn't come unnoticed.
Right.
Most people get paychecks and they work their 9 to 5, they do their job. I don't want my people to feel that way. And
Right.
and at the same thing, going on to my customers, we're fulfilling a mission together. I'm supplying you product, you're supplying me with product. We're building our businesses through the products that we offer each other. Everybody has to be aligned, whether it's your partners or whether it's your employees. Everybody should be on the same mission, and that's how you can really gain exponential growth.
Yeah. That post really kind of struck me funny. Like I read it, and then I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I was like, because I am the same way. I view like my employees, my sales reps, like I view them as my family, really. And I feel like, I mean, unless they're not, whatever. I mean, if you're working hard for me, then I feel like you're part of my family. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's how it works. And yeah, some people don't work as hard as others, and some employees aren't going to be as good as others. But there's definitely some employees you feel like that's your family. And
100%.
And I feel the same way about my suppliers and customers. I've met so many great people in this business, and just through whatever, building relationships. And some of those people are like some of my best friends. I feel like they're my family too.
Exactly.
Right.
It's amazing. It's a refreshing conversation where you could talk business, but at the same time, you get to talk about your personal and your family life, and what else is going on, things like that.
Yep.
And Larry, it's something that's a dream of mine. I know that your son works in your business, right?
Yeah.
Jared?
Yep.
That's a dream for me.
Right.
My son is 2.5. I mean, I'm trying to train the guy from now, but
Yeah.
That's a dream for me. And that's, it must be incredible having your son in the business.
Yeah, it really is. And he was, so he graduated from college last year, and he was an accounting major, played baseball and was an accounting major, and, did an accounting internship. And he's like, Dad, I don't know. I can't sit here and like look at numbers all day. And, all they're having me do is look at numbers, verify numbers, look at these reports all day. And it's like, it's fucking boring, And he's like, I just can't. And I'm like, I know, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. And, I kind of pushed him toward to be an accounting major, because I was like, well, at least you'll have something to fall back on if you try something else or whatever. And, you have an accounting degree, at least you'll have something to fall back on. And, it's obviously good experience to have that degree, to go to school for business and things like that. But yeah, I mean, he started working for me part-time when he was in college, and kind of when COVID hit, really. When COVID hit, it was a big, his baseball season got canceled, and his school basically got moved to online. So he moved home, and, he was like, starting to work for me part-time. And then he graduated, and, he's like, I think I want to do this full time. So he's been doing it full time for, about a year and a half now, and I get to see him every day. You know what I mean? So that's amazing, because if he had an accounting job going to a different office, I'd hardly see him. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's been a great experience, and it's been great teaching him the business. And now we've got a few more reps working for us, and younger guys like him. I feel like an old babysitter at times, because I
Yeah,
got
I'm thinking, it's funny, Larry. It's like I'm seeing Jared and I was kind of, oh wow, the guy looks, so I'm thinking to your younger brother. But what I love about Larry. I know that you're also very regimented. You like to stay. I've noticed with your posts, you're working out, you're staying healthy, you're all about mental health and personal health and things like that. And I brought that on. Over the last 2 years, I've really built into that. And to touch up on that, I mean, for business owners that would be listening to this, or always, right? Being a New Yorker, coming back from, my dad is an entrepreneur. My brother's a hardworking entrepreneur. My sisters all have their own businesses and things like that. So that's the kind of family I come from. So I constantly feel that I got to be on it all the time. But I've realized something, that so importantly, that if you just sit back and just take the time to let your brain actually work, you become a lot more effective that way. I've taken on meditation. I've taken a lot of exercise, eating healthy, and it's changed the way that I've been within my single day. And and I'm just not going to give my brain an actual break to actually be able to, because I'm running multiple businesses. I advise for multiple companies. I'm involved in different types of deals, a lot of complex stuff. Your mind has to be level.
Yeah.
It has to be level. To be an entrepreneur is not, and to be a business owner, it's not. It's a beautiful thing, right? But it's hard.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
hard. You got a lot of responsibility. I mean, I've worked for people in the past, and I've had bosses in the past, and I feel more now that I'm the hardest boss that I've ever had is myself.
Absolutely. Yep. It's not for everybody. You know what I mean? It's, there's a lot of people that go through life and work their 9 to 5 and get that paycheck and work for 40 years and build their retirement, and they're guaranteed a paycheck every week. Right. But not us. That's just the way it is. And I feel the pressure every day. I kind of try not to think about it, to be honest, because it does, it's like that weight that's pressing on your head all day
Correct.
long, that says, hey, if I don't sell something today, I'm not going to eat tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
And that's kind of the way that, I mean, I've been doing, this is my 19th year in business. And I'll tell you, it hasn't been great. You know what I mean? Those first 10 or so years, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. But what I realized over time is that, like they say, it's like all these cliches, hey, hard work pays off and all this other crap, but it does. I mean, I'm 51 years old right now, and I've been in this business for 19 years, but it really hasn't paid off. It's not a flip a switch kind of thing and you're successful. You know what I mean? That's not how it works.
100%. And you got to keep, even when you are successful. And you said it the other day on one of your posts, never take your foot off the gas pedal.
Right.
Ever.
Right. Yeah.
Ever. I don't care if you just made the biggest sale of your life.
Yep.
I don't care if you covered your ass for the year.
Yep.
Keep fucking getting it. That's my mentality.
And a lot of the things, like I've said this before too on LinkedIn, and a lot of the things, almost everything I post about are things that I'm going through. You know what I mean? It's like reminding myself what I'm doing. And that's a perfect example of a post, because I have to remind myself, even though now I'm way more successful than I've ever been. It's like, I can't just like say, okay, that's great, I'm going to kick back and go to the beach and relax and that, but no, that's not how it works. But you have to almost stop yourself from saying, man, look, I've built this business, I'm pretty successful, it's like I'm doing better than I ever have, but I can't take my foot off the gas. You know what I mean? Because I'm
100%.
I'm nowhere near where I really want to be,
100%.
So,
and I always say, like, you know, to be a successful entrepreneur, you gotta have a lot of passion for what you do. You gotta really love what you do. You can't be coming into work every single day hating what you do.
Yeah.
And you gotta love what you do, and you gotta know that what you're doing is you have to have your mission aligned, and you have to have your goals aligned, and you gotta literally have that thing that goal staring you in the face all the time.
Yeah.
And once you hit that goal, right, find the next goal
Right.
and go after the next goal
Yep.
and keep accomplishing things, because again, as fathers, you want to pass it on to your kids, whether they're in your business or not.
Right.
And you want to also be an influence to your family, and you want to be an influence to your friends, and you want to be an influence to your partners, and you want to be able to show that you know you don't just come to work to make money. Sometimes I look at myself and I say, I feel like I do this for free sometimes, but I still love it.
Yeah. Yep.
Why do I love it? Because it's the mission, it's the process.
Yep. Yep.
It's the process. You got to
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. And I took the route a little bit differently than a lot of entrepreneurs. I worked for somebody in this business for 6 or 7 years before I started my own business. And what happened there was I was working for somebody else. I wasn't making a lot of money, whatever, but I really didn't like the business. I just didn't like it. Got you back.
And we're back.
That's it. All right, good. So yeah, I was saying, it's like when I first started in this industry, I didn't like it really at all, because I wasn't really making much money and things like that. And whatever, it came out to be, once I started my own business, then that's kind of where the passion started. And I had to like retrain my thoughts and retrain where I was going. And I kind of retrained my personality too, because I don't know, I've talked about this in the past too, and I was never really the people kind of person. You know what I mean? I really wasn't. I would have been much happier in college. When I was in college, I would have been happy at a desk job, pushing papers around and doing that. And I don't know what happened. I mean, I really don't know what happened to me. I kind of changed my whole view on life, I guess. And I'm a completely different person than I was, so that's just kind of where I'm at, and how things have evolved for me, and it's kind of been a transformation.
It's crazy. It's crazy how much you learn over the years. Also, I mean,
Right.
I'm 30 now. I've been working. I'm 30, and I've been working since graduated high school, didn't go to college. Which my first job was sitting at a desk with a stack of papers and just cold calling businesses. I was there for 2.5 years, and I generated boatloads of business for this insurance office, strictly just papers and a phone. That was my job, no computer. And it taught me so much. I mean, I didn't even realize, but like I wasn't even getting paid commission. I was getting paid a flat salary, and I'm like, and then this is cool, whatever. Maybe bonus me here and there, and I got my bonus here and there. And looking back on it, I may have not made that crazy money, but wow, the experience that I gained from it.
Yeah.
And it's even the harder times that you go through your journey, the hard times, if you really look back on it, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's such a blessing. I mean, sometimes I say to myself, maybe I should have more in high school. Oh, maybe I should have read more books, in my early years. Maybe I should have watched more videos and learned more about business. And I say it all now, and now I'm really just cramming it in. I read about a book, maybe 2 books a month. I hate it. And the funny thing is that I hated math and I hated numbers in school. Yep. And I'm reading a book now on financial statements and understanding financial statements and the ins and outs of financials. It's boring as hell, right?
Yeah.
But I'm learning so much.
Right.
And it's there's so many things that you learn, and it's exciting to know how much more you can learn over the years too. And you got to be very open-minded. Also, I was selling life insurance and health insurance, and that was street people that they're going to die, and that was the hardest sales job, and I did really well at that. And and I look back at it now. I said I'll never go back into that industry again. But I
Yeah.
say, holy shit, this taught me so much, and I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have that experience.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like you said, you got to go through the hard times and you got to eat shit for a long time. And, that's kind of just where I've been too, is that, you figure it out. And as far as that learning goes, it's like, I have a lot of education. I have I went to college, 4-year degree. Then I went back and got my MBA. So I have an MBA also. But to be honest, it's like I was in college for so long that I got sick of it. You know what I mean? So I got sick of that whole learning aspect. But now I would, it's like I've become a learner. You know what I mean? I've been taking myself and saying, okay, I have to learn how to use LinkedIn. I have to learn how to use all this new technology that I didn't grow up with, and even cell phones and things like that. I mean, you teach yourself how to do these things, and I'm constantly learning how to do things. And that's a passion of mine. It's like, even though I'm on the older end of things, but I'm constantly staying abreast of new technology and new things that are coming about.
Yeah, I mean, it's so important to know, where the world is headed and how it's evolving, and you gotta really implement that in your life and your business, because you gotta be able to keep up. World is changing every single. Wow, and what a turn of events! I mean, we went into a damn pandemic. The world was shut down.
Right.
People have changed, and how much the world has changed since that is absolutely insane. You have to be willing to, regardless. If times are tough, it's because because of the recession, whatever they want to call it, recession, bear market, whatever they want to call it. Right? So many people are having such a hard time, but if you actually educate yourself, right, and read up on these things, and understand where the world has been over the last 500 years. This has happened a million times,
Right.
a million times.
Right.
And you and the most successful people are the ones that learn from it, grow in it, and push themselves through it.
Right.
And for anybody who's listening, if you're feeling whatever pain that a lot of people are going through right now, okay, whether your business is doing incredible now, or whether your business is really hurting, everybody's feeling some sort of effect.
Right.
And it's across all borders. But your mindset needs to be is that I'm going to keep being myself. I'm going to keep pushing as hard as I can. This is just the way of the world. This is not me. This is the world. I'm going to push myself because I know there's other people that are going to become successful through all this, and I want to be one of them. And you got to have that mindset all the time. Because
right.
if you're just going to complain and sit back and just say, the way the world is terrible, I'm not going to go to work today. Sales are slow, or I just had a big deal fall apart. You can't think like that.
Yeah.
You can't think like that. I mean, I've had my best days and worst days back to back.
Right.
You don't know what the new day is going to bring, but you got to be excited for that.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to teach my son too. It's difficult when he's first starting in the business. He's making some calls. He's trying to contact as many people as he can, and some days are better than others. It's like some days nobody answers you. And some days, then a couple weeks later, that guy you called is going to call you back and say, hey, I got your message. You know what I mean? So it does work like that. But that's how sales is, right? I mean, you're constantly pushing and you're constantly trying to develop those relationships, and it's real difficult, sometimes. So.
And being in sales, I mean, you face a lot of rejection, right? But it's
Right.
all about the follow-up.
Right.
It's all about the follow-up. It's all about staying in touch and keeping those touch points and following up. Here's just an interesting story. I remember going back probably 10 years ago. There was when I was in the insurance industry, and I was calling on this one lawyer, and I was just trying to get a meeting with the lawyer, and he kept telling me, I think he told me to call him back or whatever, follow up in 6 months, follow up in 3 months, blah, blah, blah. Drove this guy to the edge. And, I learned from that, obviously, you gotta, not drive people. I remember about a year later, I was underground, but I happened to be overground for the 3 minutes that this train runs over the Manhattan Bridge. And they get a phone call with the person's name. His name was James. And I remember, he goes, "Hi, Mark, it's James. How are you?" I forgot his last name. I just, first of all, I wanted to just tell you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was very rude to you last time. I'm sorry. My health insurance fell apart. I don't know what happened. I need coverage right away. When can you come see me? You tell me when you can come see me. I'll make the time. And I said, yeah, I mean, it was right before Thanksgiving. I remember it was the night before Thanksgiving. I was coming back from work. And I said, he gave me a time to schedule a meeting right off the bat for the week after. And he said, what retirement plan, everything. I'll give it to you all. Ended up becoming one of my biggest clients and somebody who was a big referral source and built and amounted to some tremendous business.
Right.
And there's a lot of those stories. And there's a lot of those stories. And I remember that specific client, but I always bring up that story because that was one of my first heroic times where, even though the person shut you down, they remembered you when they needed you. So you always have to be there when somebody needs you.
Yeah.
Even most of the time. I mean, even when there's a customer, right, or a vendor who's having a situation with a customer near me and he's in California, like I'll help him hash out the situation. I don't make money from that.
Right.
It's about helping them. It's about that relationship.
Yeah.
And you always have to be willing to do that. You can't always think about the dollar. You always how you can help benefit that person. Because let me tell you, sometimes just having a cup of coffee with somebody, you have no idea what it can do. And I've seen
absolutely. Yeah, I've we've had those situations over and over again where we've been in contact with somebody for a couple of years even, and they all of a sudden they come around and say, hey, do you have this material available? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that one shot. We're looking for that one shot to prove that, hey, we can supply you with that material. And then that opens up, we supply that, make that first deal. You ship that material to them and it works great. Price is great. Everything works good. Then they give you other opportunities, so that's kind of where we build our business and kind of develop those relationships by, hey, give us that one shot, try our material, try our product, try our service, we'll get it there on time. And that opens up tremendous amounts of doors once you get that first sale in there,
Larry, tell me a little bit about, your business and how it is. Is it, do you bring in materials yourself? Do you buy it? Tell me a little bit about it. I see similar to what I do, but like what specifically at Nicholson offers their customers?
Yeah. So our primary customers are plastic injection molders. So it's anybody that, molds anything out of plastic. So, and just to give you a background, there's hundreds of different kinds of plastic, right? We don't deal in every kind of plastic, but we deal in a lot of different kinds of plastic. And I'm constantly trying to expand those areas that we deal in because we're constantly trying to expand that material base of what we can offer as a distributor, what we can offer to our customers. If we can offer them something they're looking for, and then they call us 2 months later and say, hey, do you have this other material? I want to be able to offer them that too. So yeah, we buy, there's certain materials that I stock. I use warehouses around the country. So there's certain materials that we know that like if I get a good deal on, I'll stock up on something that I know we can sell, or I know that we have certain customers for, and we can, we'll definitely be able to move that material. And then there's other materials that I'll get offered, from other companies, other processors that maybe they lost a job, or maybe they can't use that material anymore, or they overbought or something like that. and I'll end up buying excess inventory from them and bringing it in and eventually selling it to some of our other customers. So so there's a number of different facets of our business. That's kind of the distribution, excess, inventory end of it. And we also deal in scrap and recyclable material too. So I have a couple guys that they're more concentrated in the recycled end of things, and they buy material that, parts and things like that can be ground up and then sold to other companies that can reuse them in different processes. Like if it's a non-critical application, if it's not an airbag or a medical device or something like that, if it's just a plastic, whatever, cup or some plastic chair that's going to be outside or whatever, and they can use recyclable material in that, then that's the other part of our business. We deal in, recyclables, and that's kind of where I got my start. When I started in the business, I was buying and selling scrap materials. So, but we had a big, I had a big shift in my business 10 years ago, and I got more into the distributing of the prime, virgin pellet material that we can, distribute to plastic injection molders. And developing that part of the business was difficult. So it took a long time. It takes a long time to get your feet in the door and prove to people who you are and blah, blah, blah. Right. It all takes time. So, 10 years ago, I kind of made a shift where I started focusing on that end of the business as opposed to the scrap end, because when you're dealing in scrap and things like that, there's a lot of problems that come along. There's a lot of contamination. There's a lot of rejections, things like that. And you end up, you could sell 3-4 loads, but then you're ending up resolving those 3-4 loads for the end of the month. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of time involved in the scrap end of things. Whereas if I'm selling prime certified material, it is what it is. And I'm handing you a piece of paper that says, here's exactly what it is. It's certified by a lab. There's no problems that come along with that. You know what I mean? So it's a different,
Wow.
it's a different business. Before I got in this business, I never even knew this business existed. You know what I mean?
It's amazing.
So
That's amazing.
yeah.
It's great. Listen, eventually you find it. I thought I was going to be in the insurance industry forever, and
Right.
eventually you find it. And you start to also. And I'm a restless mind. I like creating different ideas, and which is why I started Gotham Venture Partners, is because I have a passion for business, and I have a passion for working with entrepreneurs and understanding the ins and outs of businesses and helping benefit businesses, whether through capital or advisory. And I found that, because I'm so restless, it gives me opportunity. This business gives me an opportunity to touch up on so many different things that I'm passionate about.
Right.
And and you gotta, also like you said, sometimes you got to make a pivot too. Sometimes you think that the original idea is going to work, and sometimes that just goes flat, and you got to just pivot and figure out new ideas.
Right.
And a lot of people are, I'm sure, pivoting now,
and that's kind of what I did, right? I was in the scrap industry for, like I said, that's what I did. I was in the scrap industry for 15 years, and I decided to pivot into something else. And I kind of reset what I was doing, and it set me back a little bit. And it took me a while to build that part of the business too. So, but that's kind of, sometimes, like you said, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And I didn't see the future in my business dealing in scrap. I just didn't want to do it anymore. I saw that, if I could deal in prime virgin certified material, that things are going to be a lot smoother. And if I can build those relationships and build those customers, then I can start shipping material every month to the same customers and repeat business. And there's just more of that. So I saw that as an opportunity to really capitalize on, so that's where I kind of moved into.
Right. That's awesome. You always got to be ready to pivot and make changes. That's what everybody needs to know. It's you gotta know that you're going into one business, and you never know what your business might turn into after that. And you got to always be ready for it.
Right.
It's part of the journey.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And like you said, I mean, this entrepreneur thing is, kind of become trendy or whatever, but it's not for everybody. I mean, people think they want to do it. People think they want to get involved in it and start their own business. And then they realize it's a lot of work. I mean, it's not for everybody. And yeah, there's a lot of worrying, and I have, anxiety issues and things like that. And it's just, even though I think I'm not worrying, but in the back of my head, it's like you're always worried about something, you know what I mean? So it's and like you said, you're always constantly trying to innovate, and where am I going next, and what am I doing next?
Oh
You're
yeah,
back.
but I caught, but I did catch you. I did catch you on that. But from the stress part, you can't let the stress get to you. I mean, firstly, it's good to stress. That means you care, right?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
means
Yep.
that means you want to grow,
Right.
right? And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But you just can't let it. You can't let it overtake you.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But there's, the ways that, like I've been posting about and things like that. There's ways to deal with that too. It's like, I work out all the time. It's a stress reliever. You meditate. That's a stress reliever. It's, you do things to relieve that stress and free your body of those toxins. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I've been focusing on the last number of years, is that I focus on my health. I focus on my eating. I focus on working out and taking care of myself. And it's been a remarkable improvement in my stress situation. You know what I mean? So I'm not nearly as anxious or stressed as I used to be, so.
Larry, I think I've seen you do before. You take like cold showers in the morning or cold baths in the morning or something like that. Like you do like a cold shower.
I've tried that. Yeah. So
I think I've seen that you've done because I think I've seen you do like you jumped into one of these freezing pools in the morning. I think you showed it once, or if I have that correctly, but I think you brought it up one time.
yeah. So I've tried the shower thing. I don't have a cold, like, my next on my list is to get a cold plunge tub, which they make those systems that you can keep them outside or whatever. But so I've done the cold shower thing, and I've just learned I'm reading a lot about it, doing stuff like that. And there's so many benefits to that. Stress relief.
There's so
Yeah.
many benefits to it. There's so many benefits. If you're feeling stressed and you're feeling that pressure for the business, there's so many things that you can do to offset it,
Right.
and to actually get your body right, get your mind right, and actually be able to attack. Because listen, at the end of the day, like, I always am looking on how to grow, right? And my business isn't going to grow and be healthy if I don't grow and be healthy,
Right.
right?
Right.
You're the engine.
Right.
You got to
Right.
keep that, just like a car, you got to keep that engine fresh, and you got to keep that engine moving good.
Right. And that's something I never, like, I'm going to be honest, like, when I had young kids like you do, I never realized that. I never realized that I have to take care of myself first. You know what I mean? I was always running around like an idiot, taking care of my kids and which is great. I do that anyway, but my focus was sort of there on myself. I was working out and doing it, a little bit here and there, and not eating, whatever. I was not eating great. But now I fully realize it's like I come first. You know what I mean? And that may sound selfish, but you know what? When you really think about it, if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't be there to take care of your family. You can't be there to take care of your
Exactly.
employees. You know what I mean?
100%. And also, again, it's setting the right example for the people around you, right?
Right.
If you're going to be a leader, you want to set the right examples and have the right principles in place for yourself, and spread that to your family and to your employees and your work colleagues and your friends.
Right.
You want to be able to spread that, and I think that's super important. And
Yeah.
it's hard, because the truth is that so many people, especially over the last 2 years, have lost that sort of faith, because it's just, things have been so hard. But
Right.
and there's been so many challenges. But you got to get to that, and
Yeah.
and you got to really do self-care.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, I come from a family and that has terrible genes, right? I have a real metabolic problem. I don't process sugar. correctly, and I have high cholesterol, I have high blood pressure. So it's all genetic stuff, right? But I've come to a point where I'm like, I'm not going to go down the route that most of my family has gone down. And I'm going to do everything I can to reverse my family history. You know what I mean? So, the things that really affected me is like my dad died when he was 72. It's like, I don't want to die when I'm 72,
Right.
I want to be active when I'm 72. I want to be able to go for long walks and ride my bike and do all that kind of thing. I want to live, you know what I mean? I want to be active. So, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I'm right now at age 51, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in my entire life.
Amazing.
And that doesn't say much, because back in my 20s, I was a fucking fat piece of crap. You know what I mean? And, when I was in college in my early 20s, I weighed over 300 pounds, and
Holy shit.
and now, I mean, I can proudly say now I weighed in this morning at 207. So,
that's great.
But
That's
I mean,
incredible.
it's a total reversal of, I'm in the best shape I've ever been, but I wasn't in that great shape when I was in my 20s. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I can proudly say that, I feel good. I feel better than I ever have, to be honest. I feel like I'm 25. I don't feel like I'm 51. So I do.
You look 25, man.
Thanks. I appreciate
you look
that.
young. Yeah, I'm telling you.
I appreciate that. I got a little bit gray hair going on, but that's,
At least you got hair, man. I've lost it all already.
Yeah.
That's what 7 years of marriage will do for you.
Yeah. But I view that as the same way as anything. It's like, if you want to do something, you got to work hard to do it, right? There's all these people that go on crash diets and all these stupid, things, and they just don't realize that if you just put in the effort and eat consistently good for 95% of your week and work out 3, 4, 5 times a week, you got to maintain it for the rest of your life. It's not just a 2-year thing and then I go back and I lose 50 pounds.
It's got to be a lifestyle.
Yeah, I lose 50 pounds and then I go back and I gain it right back. I mean, I've done that. I've lived it. I've lost weight. I've gained it back. But now I finally realize it's like, you're a fucking moron. You got to do this the rest of your life. You know what I mean? You can't just sugarcoat it for a couple months and say, hey, I lost some weight, look at me, and then start eating candy bars again.
Exactly. Right. And you brought up the point about your dad. I'm sorry for the loss. I know firsthand. I mean, I lost my mom. She was 52. I lost her about it's gonna be about 9 years now, and it's I know that she would want to see me and her kids and her loved ones last longer. So you have to, it was saying about everything. I mean, and you would have to pass that on again to your loved ones, your family, and your friends, and it's so important. It's just so important, and just look at life as a gift. I mean, look, we don't know if we'll be here tomorrow, right?
Right.
We have no idea.
That's the whole thing. I mean, you can't. You got to live life, and that's the thing. I posted about, I think it was today or yesterday. It's like, the American night, American dream is really the American nightmare. I mean, you go to school, you got college debt, and you buy a big house, and you buy some cars, and you got to pay for them, and then you're working for the rest of your life for that. You know what I mean? And everybody my age kind of fell right into that, and I did too. And it's kind of like you want to keep up with your friends, and your friends buying a house, you want to buy a house, and blah blah blah, and all this other crap. But in all reality, it's like, you just need to be happy, man. I mean, that, like, you got to live your life to not worry about 10 years from now. It's like, you got to live for today, man. I mean, that's one thing that I'm always doing. I'm always trying to do fun stuff. I'm always trying to, try and live for today, because I might not wake up tomorrow. You're not guaranteed tomorrow,
And we're back.
They're back at it. Yeah.
But I heard, I caught your last point though. It's 100%.
Yeah.
And people just people just need to know it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's all I try
that's,
to do every day.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like when my dad passed away, it really kind of shook me to the core. And, it's like you feel like, man, I wish I had those. I wish I had 5 more years with them. I wish I had this. So, it's like you wish you just had those couple more years. And I mean, it's like that when anybody dies. But I mean, I thought he, was a little early. He died from Parkinson's, so he had Parkinson's disease. But that was the thing. It was like, I slowly watched him decline and the whole deal. So it was tough. It was a tough situation. And he had some other health issues going on too. And like I said, I'm trying to live every day, like, because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I'm trying to live it like, hey man, I'm going to take life to the fullest advantage. And every time I wake up in the morning, I'm happy that I woke up, and not much else matters. You know what I mean?
After Larry, since I have you, I mean, how
I'm
the family's
sorry.
doing?
I'm sorry. You broke up there. What were you asking about?
Oh, I was saying is, how's the community doing after what you guys saw last month with the shooting and things like that?
Shooting
I
and
mean,
all
how's
that.
everybody
Yeah.
coping? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was, I mean, obviously shocking, and that supermarket was not in my neighborhood, but I mean, I'm not even 10 miles from where it happened. You know what I mean? So it's obviously shocking for that community. And I think they're just reopening the store now. I think it was last week that they're reopening the store finally. And to have that happen in your community, I mean, it's a real eye opener. It really is, because you look around the country and you hear things happening, and it's a distance away. But when it happens in your community, and you're right there, and you could have been in that store when that happened, I mean, you just never know.
yeah.
You just never know these days. And there's a lot of crazy people out there, and a lot of crazy people with guns, and it's just unfortunate. But
Yeah.
the people were scared to go to the grocery store after that.
Look, I know you probably missed me on the last part, but look at everything they have. Look, when things are get look at everything, use that as a motivator for everything you do,
Right.
and just keep making improvements. Really just constantly keep making improvements, and work on yourself, and incrementally, and you'll get to where you need to go.
Yeah. Yeah,
This was really,
absolutely.
awesome, Larry. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And like I said, we'll, I'll be doing more of these. And like I said, I definitely wanted to have you on. You were on my hit list to have on for sure. That's, I've been an admirer of yours
Appreciate
from
it, Larry.
afar.
So it's great. It's great. It's same here, man. Ditto on this end as well. It's really awesome, and I look forward to communicating more. And let's keep it going, man. It's really fantastic, and I love this dialogue that we have, and I really I'm appreciative of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the whole
I'm with
thing.
you.
It's like when I meet people that I want to stay in contact with, it's like, I talk about this too. It's like, when you meet somebody, it's like, you got to stay in contact with them. You never know when we're going to maybe do some business together. Who knows? Right. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the
You never
future?
even know when that person can just pass on something to you
Right.
that
Right.
might change your
Right.
life,
Right. And that's
or
my whole
might
thing.
something in their life.
Yeah.
100%, my friend.
Yeah. And that's my whole thing. It's like, I want to surround myself with like-minded individuals that want to work hard and have the same values as I do. And we can share ideas and are on the same page, and are inspired by each other. You know what I mean? That's really where I'm looking to
100%.
connect with people,
100%, man.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
And
Yep.
this podcast, I think, is going to kill it, man. I love it. I thank you for having me today.
Yeah,
Larry. Thank you.
absolutely. So yeah, just to give you an idea, I mean, when I had my second guest on, we were only at like, I don't know, 30 subscribers or so, but now we're over 200. So we're growing, you know what I mean? So
I think you're gonna. I think you're gonna get to 200,000. And Larry, you know you got my support every
Yeah.
which way you can. So
No, I appreciate that,
I
brother.
look forward to see. I look forward to seeing more episodes, and I look forward to being in touch more. And really, Larry, thank you for everything that you do. Really,
Yeah, absolutely,
you're
man. No,
fantastic.
it was great to have you on. And like I said, I was been wanting to have you on. And like I said, it's been,
Thank you.
it's always great to bring people on that inspire others and are in different businesses, and we can learn about their businesses. And that's what this podcast, Lounging with Larry, is all about. I kind of just wanted to bring people on that I know a lot of interesting people like yourself, and bring them on and help inspire people and help motivate people and give them that extra added little push to say they could do it. You know what I mean? So
100%. 100%.
all right, well, I'll let you go, Mark, but I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you. All
right.
Thank you.
Sounds good, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, how you living, B? Yo, I'm lounging. Yeah, how you living, Ski? Yo, I'm just lounging, B. Yeah, how you living, G? Yo, I'm just lounging, B. Yeah, how you living? I'm lounging.